Hi, my name is Benjamin Elegant. On September the 9th, 2001, I was challenged to examine the claims of Islam. On September the 10th, 2001, I got on the web, did a cursory review, and concluded rather quickly that anyone who takes Islam seriously is fundamentally cruel. On September the 11th, 2001, 13 Islamic terrorists confirmed what I had concluded the day before. They hijacked airplanes and used them as bombs to murder 3,000 innocent people. My cursory studies from the day before led me to believe that the so-called war on terror, which ensued on 9/11, was not necessarily going to be won with guns and bombs, but by challenging the veracity of Islam as a genuine worldview and religion. This was why I was particularly upset and dismayed when I heard George W. Bush say things like,
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. It's practiced freely by many millions of Americans and by millions more in countries that America counts as friends. Its teachings are good and peaceful, and those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
One of my favorite passages in the Bible is found in Zechariah chapter 14. It's also included in the Aleinu prayer in the synagogue, and for that reason, it has a particularly strong impact on my soul. It's usually accompanied with a melody which is, I regard, as at least haunting and yet triumphant. Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushmo Echad. That passage talks about the time when the world is at peace, the world to come, when nation will not lift up war against nation, and swords will be turned into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks, when the lion will lay down with the lamb. And that is a very real thing, and I believe it's going to happen. But the passage that I sang to you speaks of something that characterizes that time. Translated, it means, on that day, the Lord shall be one, and his name shall be one. To me, that means that what will characterize that time will be that there will be a universal consensus concerning the nature of God, what he is like, and what he expects from us. For this reason, I find it counterproductive to the pursuit of peace for any politician to affirm the legitimacy of any religion, let alone Islam. Religions are not equal paths to peace, and they, at best, only approximate the nature of God. In fact, they differ greatly on what God expects from us. George W. Bush did what any politician would do: say what people want to hear. That's what politicians do. And, as I've already said, it does not promote peace. I would argue that Barack Obama did exactly the same thing throughout his presidency. I cite as an example his 2009 speech in Cairo, Egypt. In that speech, he may have been well-intentioned, after all, who doesn't want world peace? But he was misguided at best. He said,
the Holy Quran teaches that whoever kills an innocent it is as if he has killed all mankind. And the Holy Quran also says, whoever saves a person, it is as if he has saved all mankind.
He went on to use that as a proof text to argue that the ideology of Islam is at the very vanguard of the promotion of peace.
Islam is not part of the problem in combating violent extremism. It is an important part of promoting peace.
Parts of that quote, whose origin, by the way, is in the Jewish Talmud, were left out. The verse begins with the phrase, "We decreed upon the children of Israel," and so on. Note, the decree concerning the tragedy of the murder of innocent people was given to Israel and not to Muslims. Also left out from that quote was the following. "And our messengers had certainly come to them with clear proofs. Then indeed many of them, even after that, throughout the land were transgressors. Indeed, the penalty of those who wage war against Allah and His Messenger, and strive upon earth to cause corruption, is none but that they be killed or crucified, or that their hands and their feet be cut off from opposite sides, or that they be exiled from the land. That is for them a disgrace in this world, and for them in the hereafter is a great punishment. Except for those who return, repenting before you apprehend them, and know that Allah is forgiving and merciful." Note, the very text used in the speech in Cairo that was used to argue for the notion that Islam is a religion of peace was actually used by the Quran as a platform for the justification of killing Jews. What I find interesting is that at the end of that last verse is the phrase, "Allah is forgiving and merciful." I find it ironic that someone who would order the killing, crucifixion, or mutilation of innocent individuals as being forgiving and merciful. Do you know who I find forgiving and merciful, and consequently exemplary? Jesus, who while hanging on a crucifixion stake cried out to God, his Father, concerning those who accused him, "Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing."